Hi, group leaders. It's great to be with you today. I'm Kaylee Jensen.
I'm Brad Green, one of the group leaders here at New Life.
Yeah, and community pastors.
Yep.
Investing in a lot of you. And so we just wanted to take some time and talk about the awkward phase. So we talked about that a little bit at our last training, that the awkward phase is typically the first phase you go through in a group. And so we wanted to give you some tips on how to survive the awkward phase.
Okay, first we'll talk about identify who's missing. So this can mean a lot of things. This is like you've just met a friend, you're awkward, you don't know what to say to each other, times 10 or 12, based on how many people are in the room. You'll know a few of them, maybe so, maybe no, depends how well you invited leading into your group. What we're talking about here in identifying the missing is seeing if there's someone you know you could invite that could provide that spark that would get the group rolling a little better, or if you know that there's a couple that are friends with a couple already in the group and that couple isn't participating much, maybe you purposefully seek them out and invite them to your group.
Yeah, and I know, Brad, you were telling me that your group started in September.
Right.
Right now it is February. So
Right.
How long did it take for you to get through the awkward phase?
So it took probably at least 3 months. By Christmas time, we were all doing good, and none of that's anything bad. It's just the natural life cycle of a group. If you're centered around a book for a very short period of time, often people camp in awkward and they don't care. But if you're trying to grow what we're doing here, a discipling group, a discipling relational group, it's important that you connect with those people and that you build a group dynamic that includes everyone. So the way we finally got through that is invited a few more people, got the group a little bit larger, that relieved pressure on other people who were feeling a little shy, and in that way everyone got engaged and involved.
Great. So tip number 2, identify what's making the group uncomfortable. I know for me, I think back to one of the first groups that I led at New Life, and I had a large turnout actually the first week, and I realized after the group that I had set up the chairs in a really awkward way. And so my first group felt really uncomfortable. And as soon as I discovered that and I identified, okay, I think what's happening is that the setting feels awkward. And so the next group, I changed rooms and set up the chairs differently, and the group felt so much more natural. And so as your group is feeling awkward, take time to just look at the environment. What's making your group feel uncomfortable? It might be the chairs. It might be maybe food is missing. Just step back and take a look at your group and see what can I do that maybe will take away some of those things that are making just the setting feel uncomfortable.
Now we're around a kitchen table. How does your group?
We meet in a family room around couches and chairs, some people on the floor. And
Perfect.
So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Next is identifying any outliers that may be in your group. And this may be someone who always shows up but doesn't contribute, or on the other extreme, someone who likes to talk. And I've been accused of that before. I know what that feels like. So if someone who just seems to dominate the group, and it's because they're contributing and they're full of ideas. So identify those outliers, and you try to normalize everyone by trying to draw the folks in who aren't sharing yet, and maybe even talking privately to someone who tends to dominate a group. You talk with that person, you appreciate them, and kind of partner with them, try to keep them included, make sure they understand you want them there and you want your input, but that they need to throttle down sometimes, draw other people in, and they can even help you to do that. If there's someone who's already outgoing, they'll be able to help you draw in the outliers who aren't participating yet.
Great. So number 4, identify what is making the group unsafe. So sometimes there can be just different personalities that are maybe making the group unsafe. I've heard of one of my group leaders just share with me that they had someone in their group that really knew the Bible and kind of sometimes used the Bible in a way that made other people feel inadequate. And so they were able to actually have a one-off conversation with that person, explain what was going on that they saw, and that person was excited to then help the group, and they were able to see kind of their part in what was making the group maybe feel unsafe. So sometimes it is actually having to have an awkward conversation outside of the group to make sure that your group is safe. You want people to feel like they don't have to know everything about the Bible. And so if there is one person in your group that has every biblical answer, that could be contributing to making your group unsafe. It could also be somebody maybe oversharing or things like that. So you want to think about the safety of your group. People aren't going to relax and start sharing if there's somebody that is making the group unsafe. So just be watching the dynamics in your group as you go along, and if you start to feel something is off a little bit, pay attention to that feeling, and then maybe have an offline conversation with that person And you can totally do that in a loving way, and that person can grow from that experience. So don't be afraid to have those one-off conversations, because it's for the betterment of your group and really helps to make your group feel safe.
I agree. Thanks very much. You're doing an important thing. We all love you for it. This is one of the most important things we can do in our lives, is group together around Jesus and the Word of God. Thanks for your work in New Life Groups.
Yeah. Have a great week.